The topic of this video is managing your students' profiles in Exxat Prism. This video is comprised of 9 chapters. Using this video, you can learn how to set up and manage your students' profiles in Exxat Prism, share a student's profile, review compliance documents, assign communications and interventions, and more. This tutorial uses mock student data for educational purposes. First, navigate to the Student section of the system from your dashboard or upper left-hand menu. Then click on a specific student's name. This will take you to the Academic tab of this student's profile. If you would like to select a different student, you can use the left-hand menu to find and select your student of interest. You can also search for specific students using the search box above this menu. On the top left-hand side of the page, you can view the student's profile image, as well as general contact and academic information. To change the student's profile image, click on the profile image. You can then click the delete button to remove the image. You can also click change image to upload a new image. Please note that profile images need to be square-shaped, therefore use the grid to crop the image as necessary. When you are done, click on the X to close this window. On the student profile page, you can assign tags to a student. Think about tags as e-post-it notes on individual students. Tags are useful because they are only for internal use, and therefore the student cannot view these. Tags always follow student names on all pages, allowing you to have the information handy while you manage your students for coursework and placements. For example, tags like new parent or needs public transport allow you to consider the needed accommodations while making placements. You can set tags for if a student is married or single, instances like this. Click the plus icon to adjust the student's assigned tags. You can then select the tags you would like to associate with the student. If you would like to make any changes to these previously added tags, click on the corresponding pencil icon. You can then change the name or color of the tag. When you are done, click Save. To add a new tag to this list, click the Add New Tag button. You can then enter the name and assign the tag a color. You can add up to 10 tags to the system. Once you are done, click Add. After you have made your selections, click Apply. Tags are useful when filtering lists of students. For example, if you have tagged students who are married, and you would like to view a list of these married students, you can navigate to the Students tab of the Students section, then click on the Filter icon, select the Tags option from the left-hand menu, select the Married option, then click Apply. The table below will then list all students assigned the married tag. Where a table of students is displayed, you can filter this list by tags. Now, navigate back to a student's profile page. After you have applied filters in the Students section, the left-hand menu will have the selected filters applied. To clear all applied filters, click on the Clear All hyperlink above the Student selection menu. In the student profile, you can also view and edit academic information for the student. Click on the pencil icon in the Status section to make changes to their status, academic standing, enrollment term, graduation term, group, campus, and student category. In the Notes and Documents section, you can assign notes for the student to view and notes for internal use only. Students will be able to view notes added to the Notes Shared with Students section, therefore make sure you do not include any information you would like to hide from students. You can add notes about the student's academic plans, such as if they are considering changing their major or dropping out of the program in the Notes Shared with Students section. To share notes with the student, click on the plus icon next to the Shared with Students text of the Notes section. You can then enter your note in the text area and provide a related document if you would like to do so. If, for example, your student has earned an academic achievement, you can provide a note to them congratulating them, then attach a file containing the Academic Achievement Award in the Browse to Upload section. To attach a document to a note, click on the Browse to Upload button and select the file you would like to upload. Note the supported file types and size limits below. Notes added to the Internal Use Only section cannot be viewed by students, so if you want to leave a note about the student for only other faculty and administrators to view, click on the plus icon in the corresponding Notes section. One use of the Internal Use Only Notes section is to track student behavioral issues or suspected plagiarism. You can then provide your note and supporting document. Save once finished. To delete a previously added note, click on the pencil icon for the respective note, then click on the vertical ellipses in the upper right-hand corner and select the Delete button. Sometimes when a student experiences academic difficulties or faces significant life adversity, their graduation year may be pushed back. Or if your program is non-lockstep, a student may change their area of professional interest. If this is the case, you will need to update their cohort. To change the student's cohort, click on the Update Cohort button. A description of the impact areas of moving a student from one cohort to another will be displayed. Generally, profiles of students assigned, announcements, resources, attestations, program requirements, and additional profile details may be affected because all of these items are assigned to specific cohorts. The student will lose access to any of these items assigned to their old cohort, which are not assigned to their new cohort. Concurrently, students will gain access to any of these items assigned to the new cohort, which are not also assigned to their previous cohort. Any of these items assigned to all cohorts will not be affected by the student's cohort change. The student's course registrations will not be affected. Also, student compliance documents will be imported from their old cohort to the new cohort for each compliance requirement that is set up the same in the two cohorts. The student's placement and learning activity data will not be affected by the student's change of cohort. Lastly, if the student has any subscriptions, these subscriptions should be unaffected by the cohort change. If subscriptions are affected by the change of cohort, our support team will reach out to your account manager to remedy this. Click the Next button. The student's current cohort will be displayed on the left-hand side. Use the drop-down menu on the right to select the new cohort. After you have made your selection, click the Update Cohort button. A small text box will appear telling you the cohort movement is in progress. This process may take some time, so you may want to move on and come back to this page later to check if the student was moved successfully. In the Program Requirements section, you can view the pending, placed, and completed program requirements assigned to the student. Pending program requirements are those which the student has yet to complete. Placed program requirements are those that will be completed by the student's current placements, and completed program requirements are those that the student has already completed. When you are making a placement, it is possible to assign specific program requirements to it. When you assign a program requirement to a placement, you are indicating that this requirement will be completed when the student finishes the placement. Therefore, once the placement end date passes, the system will automatically mark the program requirement as completed. For example, your students may be required to complete a placement that involves providing service to an underserved population. If the student has a placement where they provide service, you should assign this requirement to it. The requirement will then be assigned the place status while the student completes their placement, and once the placement end date passes, the requirement will be marked as completed. If you would like to manually change the status of a requirement to indicate it was completed, click on the pencil icon. You can then click on the status dropdown for a specific requirement and change the status from pending to completed. Once you are done, click on the Save button. For more information on how to make student placements, please watch our Managing Placements in Exxat Prism tutorial. In the Associated Staff and Faculty section, you can view the student advisors assigned to the student. Student advisors can view the student's profile and track students' academic progress and provide advising so students can meet their academic and career goals. Student advisors do not have access to review student compliance, but they can be given the ability to view compliance status if you provide them with this ability. For more information on how to allow faculty advisors to view student compliance, please watch our Setting Up Faculty tutorial. Also, student advisors cannot review learning activities, but they can view them. Click on the plus icon to assign another student advisor to the student. You will then select the faculty member, assign their role, and provide notes for their assignment. Please note that the role selected is for information purposes only. The role of the faculty member does not affect their permitted access in the system. To make any changes to previously added student advisor assignments, click on the pencil icon. You can then change the faculty member, their role, and the notes added to this assignment. To disassociate a faculty advisor from a student, click on the vertical ellipses in the upper right-hand corner and select the Delete option. Below this you can view assigned student attestations, the status of these attestations, and the date and time the student agreed to these attestations. The Profile tab holds demographic, contact, and other information about the student. Most of the time students are supposed to fill out all the information in the Student Profile tab. You do have the ability to add and edit information on behalf of the student, but we advise you have your students fill it out initially. This section of the student profile is important because there is information on this page that sites will use in determining whether to accept them for a clinical placement. Therefore, it is very important that the Profile tab is up to date when you send the student's profile to clinical sites. The Demographics section holds information related to the student demographics. The Personal Contact section holds personal contact information for the student. The Emergency Contact section is where your students will provide their emergency contact information. Click on a drop-down in this section to view that emergency contact. The Additional Profile Details section is where your student will answer the additional profile details questions you have uploaded in the Student Setup section. The status of this section will change based on whether your student has answered these questions or not. You will see the answered questions displayed in the list. The Summary section holds a few questions for your student to answer about their educational learning style and statement of purpose. In the Areas of Professional Interest section, the student will select the clinical settings they are most interested in professionally. In the Resume section, the student can upload their resume or CV for storage and sharing purposes. To view this uploaded resume, click on the document's hyperlink. A page will open displaying the document. You can also download the document by clicking on the Download button to the right of the document's name. It is important that students' up-to-date resume is uploaded, because this resume section is viewable by site personnel when the student's profile is shared. The Education section holds information related to the student's past educational experiences. The Work Experience section holds information related to the student's past work experiences, either employment-related or volunteer-related. The Membership section holds information about the student's memberships. The Licensure section holds information about any current licenses the student holds. Lastly, the Skills and Accomplishments section holds information about the student's continuing education, publications, language skills, certifications, honors and awards, and other scholarly activity. To add information to any of these sections, click on the plus icon. This will open a window for you to fill in the related information. Click on the Save button when you are finished. To make changes to any entry or section, click on the corresponding pencil icon. You can then make the necessary changes and then save it. To delete an entry from a list of entries, click on the vertical ellipses in the upper right-hand side of the page, and then select Delete. During the placement process, you will need to share student profiles with sites. Sites will then view the student's profile to ensure they are suitable for the clinical placement. To do this, click on the Share Profile drop-down in the top right-hand corner, then select the Share Profile option. When sharing a student's profile, the link you send will automatically contain their full name, preferred pronouns, school email address, areas of professional interest, resume, educational history, work experience, skills and accomplishments, and the summary section of their profile. You can now indicate what other information you would like to send. If you would like to send their contact information, click on the drop-down arrow and indicate which type of contact information you would like to send. You could send their personal contact information, address information, or emergency contact information by checking the box next to that type of information. To send all their contact information, click on the box next to the top of the list. You could also indicate if you want to include their completed program requirements, completed compliance documents, or completed placements. You can click on the down arrow to select specific placements or compliance documents. Please note the data will only be displayed if there is information populated in these fields. Please note, we offer the ability to protect student compliance information sent when emailing compliance information to clinical instructors from the Placements section and within shared student profiles. If you would like to set up this additional protection of student compliance information, please reach out to our support team at prism-support@exxat.com. After you have our support team set up this compliance protection functionality and you send student compliance information to a site contact, the site contact will click on the link within the sent email and they will be met with a screen asking them to enter the one-time password sent to their school email address. The email address that is sent this one-time password is the same email address you delivered the email to. Once they enter the one-time password, they will be able to view the student's compliance information. When you click on the Completed Placements dropdown, you will see a table with the student's completed placements. You will be able to view the course in which this placement occurred, the location where the student was placed, the experiential supervisor assigned to the student's placements, the student's placement dates, and the setting of the student's placement. The same information will be sent when you share the student's profile if you indicate you would like to include a completed placement. After you have indicated the additional information you would like to send, you will now add the recipients. In the to box, enter the email address of the person you would like to share their profile with. It is also possible to share this profile with multiple recipients at the same time. To do this, enter the email addresses separated by a comma. You can also CC any other recipient if you so desire. If you would like to provide additional context to the student's profile, you can include such information in the Notes section. Notes added to the Notes section will be displayed within the sent email, under the link to the student's profile. If you want to include additional information to the site, you can attach files to the email you are sending. If, for example, you would like to include a student cover letter, click on the Browse to Upload button and then select the file from your computer. Please note the supported file formats and the size limitations here. At the bottom of the page, there will be a short template of the email you are sending. To see a detailed preview of this shared profile, click on the vertical ellipsis on the top right side of the drawer, and then click Preview. The window that just opened will show you this preview. When you are ready, go ahead and click Send. The student's profile will then be shared with the indicated recipients. Under the Share Profile button, there will be a link titled Profile Share History. To review the instances in which this student's profile has been shared, click on this link. A drawer will open with a table detailing these instances. The table will tell you the recipient's name, the recipient's email address, the status of your sent profile, and the time and date that the email was sent. To view more details on a specific status, hover your mouse over that displayed status and a small message will appear with an explanation. If you would like to manually send the student's profile outside of the Exxat system, you can generate a URL link to the student's shared profile. To generate a URL to the student's profile, click on the Generate Profile URL option. Here you can select the types of information you would like to include in the profile link. After you have made your selections, you can click the Preview button to view what the profile page will look like, then click Generate URL. You can then copy this link to share it using the Copy button on the right of the link. Lastly, there is also a profile download option to view the student's profile offline or print this out for your physical records. To download the student's profile, click on the Share Profile dropdown and select Download Profile. The student's profile will then be downloaded in the PDF format. Sometimes you might want to verify if you've completely set up the student account as intended or check how the information appears for a student. In order to view what a specific student's Exxat login looks like, click on the View As button. This will take you to this student's dashboard. You can then navigate this student's login. Please note that you will not be able to make changes, add, or delete information on behalf of the student when you are in View As mode, but you will be able to explore the entire student's Exxat account in view-only mode. Once you are done, click Switch Back. This will bring you back to the student profile page. In the Compliance tab, you can view and review uploaded student compliance documents. Compliance documentation is how your program collects students' healthcare, identity, insurance, and certification information to clear the student for clinical placement. You will need to make sure the student uploads the required documents, and you review them before the student is ready for clinical placement. You will see a table displaying the name of the compliance documents, the status of each document, the document due dates, follow-up dates, and expiration dates if these have been set up, and lastly whether the document can be included when sharing the student's profile. Any date marked in red text indicates that the document is past due. You should then notify your students of these incomplete compliance documentation immediately. If you would like to store student compliance documentation outside of the Exxat system, we offer the ability to download student compliance documents and reports. To download the list of compliance documents, click on the Download Report button. You will then be able to select the documents you would like to download. Please note that you will not be able to download any documentation which has been marked as sensitive. Once you have made your selections, you can then click the Download button on the left-hand side to download a report of the selected compliance documentation in the PDF format. You can also download the actual documents the student has uploaded. Just click on the Download Files for Selected Documents button on the right-hand side. This will download a zip file with all the selected files. To review or make changes to a compliance document, click on the status of a compliance document or the pencil icon in the rightmost column. A window will then open. Scroll down, and you will see information about the student's submission. Click on the View Document hyperlink to view the student's uploaded document. If everything looks correct, and the uploaded document satisfies this compliance requirement, click on the drop-down and select Approve. You can then select a reason for approving the document if you are approving it under any special circumstances. If the document does not satisfy the compliance requirement, for example, if the wrong document was uploaded, select Not Approved. You will then need to select a reason for why you marked this document as not approved. If you would like to indicate that you will come back to this document later to review it, click on Pending Review. You can then indicate the reason why you selected this status. Lastly, if you would like to unsubmit the document for the student to make changes to it, select the In Progress status. You can then select a follow-up date. If you would like to add comments to your student, you can add this comment in the provided text box. This can be useful if you would like to provide additional clarifications to the student. In the upper right-hand side of the window there is the Review Clarifications section. This is a place for you to provide messages to the approved team members concerning a specific compliance document. Students will not be able to view these messages. Click on the plus icon to add a new message. A window will appear with a text box for you to provide your message. Below this text box there is a list of previous messages added by you or other members. After you provide your message, click Save and your message will be saved to the list. If you have a student's compliance documentation on hand, and the document is not updated in the system, you can update a student's compliance document on behalf of them. To update the compliance document itself, on behalf of the student, click on the plus or pencil icon to upload a new document or change the submitted compliance details. However, if the student's compliance document is expired or approved, you will need to click the Add New Record button to add or update the student's compliance document. You can then change any associated dates using the calendar icon. You can provide notes to the document and upload files using the Upload Files button. To delete an uploaded file, click on the trash bin icon next to the file's name. You can then upload a new file. When you are done making changes to the compliance documentation, click on the Save button. Once you are done reviewing this compliance document, click the Update Status button. The document status will then be updated. If you select a reason and approve a compliance document, there will be an indicator next to the approved status. The M indicates that a document was approved with medical exemption, the E indicates it was approved with exemption, the D indicates it was approved with declination, and the R indicates it was approved with religious exemption. The Communication and Intervention sections allow you to log notable communications and events with the student. Communications are typically notable conversations with the student which are neutral. Interventions are notable conversations with students to help them overcome various academic, personal, and professional challenges. In terms of functionality, both the communication and intervention sections function similarly, but this distinction allows you to keep track of these two different types of interactions with students. By keeping interventions separate, it makes it significantly easier for your school's academic review committee to keep track of struggling students. Within the Communications tab, you can log any neutral and notable communications you have with the student. Examples of communications include career advising sessions or student requests for specific accommodations. You can also view communications added by other administrators and faculty members. Students cannot view communication entries. Each communication entry will have its own card. Within each card, you can view the title, description, follow-up information, and any uploaded documentation. You can also see who conducted the communication, the date of the communication, and the date the communication was logged. Please note that if a scheduled follow-up date has passed without any update to the communication, this date will appear in red text. If you would like to add a communication, click on the plus icon. You can then provide the relevant information such as the method of contact with the student, the person who initiated the contact and a subject, and description of the encounter. In the Date section, indicate the date the communication was initiated. You may want to upload a supporting document as well. For example, if you provided students with a flyer or handout, you could upload these here. To upload a document, please check the supported file types and size limits and click on the Browse to Upload button. You can then select the desired document to upload. You are also able to provide follow-up information here. Follow-ups are continued communications, such as if you want to follow up with the student to check in with students after a communication was conducted. If you plan to conduct a follow-up, populate the planned date in the follow-up section. If the follow-up has already been conducted, enter the actual follow-up date as well. Lastly, describe the follow-up. You are now ready to save this communication. To edit any entry, click on the pencil icon. You can then make changes to the entry. Save once you are finished. If you would like to delete any previous entries, click on the vertical ellipses and then select Delete. In the Interventions tab, you can log interventions you have conducted to help students overcome academic, personal, or professional challenges. These interventions may involve academic advising, counseling services, and other forms of support to promote student success and well-being throughout their academic journey. You can view any previously entered interventions here. Interventions added by other administrators and faculty members will also show up on this page. Students cannot view intervention entries. There will be sections for open interventions and closed interventions. Open interventions are ongoing. Closed interventions are those that have been resolved. Click on the Expand button to view the list of interventions. On the left-hand side, you can view the subject, details, date added, and date of the intervention. On the right, there will be a small box containing any follow-up information. You can view the total number of follow-ups related to the intervention, the number of completed follow-ups, and if there is a follow-up planned for a specific date, that date will also appear. If the planned follow-up date has since passed, the text displaying the date will appear in red. If you would like to edit any previously entered interventions, click on the pencil icon. If you would like to delete a previously entered entry, you can use the vertical ellipses to select Delete. To add an intervention entry, click on the plus icon. You can then provide the relevant information such as the method of contact with the student, the person who initiated the contact, and the relevant course, rotation, and site of the student's placement. Then provide a subject and description of the encounter. In the Date section, indicate the date the intervention was initiated. Indicate if the intervention is open or closed using the Status drop-down. You may want to upload a supporting document, such as if you have established a remediation or academic improvement plan to remedy the student's bad behavior. If so, please check the supported file types and size limits and click on the Browse to Upload button. You can then select the desired document for upload. You are also able to provide follow-up information here. Intervention follow-ups are commonly used to check on student progress in overcoming their challenges. Click the plus icon to add a follow-up. You can add multiple follow-ups to an intervention. First, populate the date you plan to conduct the intervention. If the follow-up has already been conducted, enter the actual follow-up date as well. To delete a follow-up entry, you can use the trash bin icon here. Lastly, provide a description for the follow-up intervention. You are now ready to save this entry. Within the Coursework tab, you will see all the placements for the student. Click on the location name to go to the location page to see all the details of the location. Click on the View Additional Details hyperlink to view information such as the experiential supervisors associated with the student's requirement upload status, the status of student placement attestations, associated placement faculty, and the overall status of their learning activities. If the status of the student requirement upload appears as some action needed, this means the student has not uploaded all of their required documents. Please reach out to the student to have them upload these requirements before their placement. To download a student's uploaded requirements, click on the download icon next to the requirement upload status. If a student's placement is non-consecutive, click on the calendar icon to view the specific dates of the student's placement. The Learning Activities tab allows you to view and review the information of specific learning activities for the student's placements. The types of learning activities available are forms or evaluations, patient logs, timesheets, and time off. First, select Forms or Evaluations. You will see a list of the courses with the forms or evaluations activated. You can click on the placement name to expand the list of forms and evaluations available. Click on the status to view the contents of that form or evaluation. You can then review this form or evaluation. In the Patient Log tab, you can view and review all patient log entries for each of the students' clinical placements. You can use the search box to type in a course name or use the filter options to view the logs for specific settings or statuses. In the table, you will see the course name, placement details, total number of logs, and the logs sorted by status. Yellow represents pending review, red represents needs attention, and green represents approved. Click on one of the statuses to go to the patient log page to view details. If you would like to see entries of different statuses, click on the status drop-down menu and make your selections. You can then review the student's patient log by clicking on the patient log ID. Next, click on the Timesheet tab. Here you can view and review each of the timesheet entries for the student's placements. You will see a list of courses in which the student has been placed, their placement details, and their timesheet hours categorized by status. You can use the search box to type in a course name or use the filter options to view the details for specific settings and statuses. The student's total number of hours across courses will be displayed at the top of the table, and this will also be categorized by the submission status. To view the hours with respect to a course and specific status, click on one of the statuses. It is possible to view the timesheet entries entered between specific dates. To do this, click on the calendar icons and select a start date and an end date. If you would like to see entries of different statuses, click on the status drop-down menu and make your selections. You can then review timesheet entries on this page. Lastly, we will go over the Time Off tab. In the Time Off tab, you will see a list of courses that have the Time Off learning activity activated. You can use the search box to type in a course name or use the filter options to view the details for specific settings or statuses. Please note that a course will only appear when the student has submitted time off entries. On the right-hand side of this table, you will see the time off entries submitted for a course, categorized by status. Click on one of the statuses to view the time off entries for that specific status. It is possible to view the entries entered between specific dates. To do this, click on the calendar icons and select a start date and an end date. If you would like to see entries of different statuses, click on the status drop-down menu and make your selections. You can then review the student's time off entries. After you have students set up within your system, it is possible to run various reports on your student data. To run a report, navigate back to the Students section, then select the Reports tab. We offer reports to aggregate student communication and intervention information, program requirements, demographic information, and more. The Reports tab houses a table containing all of our student reports. In the left-hand column, you can view the report category name. The column on the right-hand side of the table contains a short description of each report. Let's say you want a quick overview of which students have completed specific program requirements. Our program requirement reports would be useful in this instance. For now, we will demonstrate how to run the Student Information Report. Click on the Student Information Report hyperlink. The report will display all your students' demographic information, contact and address information, as well as some academic information. Click on the search box to search for specific students by their student name or student ID. You can also filter this report by clicking on the filter icon. You can then filter this list of students by various student information related criteria. Once you are done, click the Apply button. To make changes to the columns of this table, click on the wrench icon. You can then delete a column using the trash bin, or reorder the columns using the double ellipses and up and down arrows. To re-add a deleted column, click on the Add a Column button, then select the column you would like to add. To reset all the columns, click on the Reset All hyperlink. Once you are ready, click on the Save button. If you would like to access this student information report offline, you can always export the report in the Excel format. To export the report, click on the Export button. Thank you for watching our Managing Students tutorial. Please take the time to check out our other helpful Exxat Prism tutorials.